All right. Hello, everyone. Looks like we are live in effect on all platforms. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Natasha Bryan. For those who do not know, I am a mental health and wellness expert, a confidence mindset coach, and I am here to give you, let me tell you, this series is like no other. If you follow me on Instagram at Speak Like Transformation, or if you are a subscriber on my YouTube channel, Speak Like Transformation TV, then you already know how I get down. But this is going to be something new and special because I usually don't have guests. It's just usually me talking to y'all. But for the next 8 weeks, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m., I'm going to be going live on these platforms for this short series, Speak Life Lessons. This is all in honor of my coloring book, My Self Talk Speaks Life, inspirational coloring book. Yes, if you don't have a copy, what are you waiting for? Get you a copy. It is all about speaking life. It's all about stress management through coloring, relaxation, mindfulness through coloring, but also there's affirmation poetry inside to help you start speaking life in all that you do. And so I'm going to tell you some important news about what's available, how you can get a copy of this. But every single episode that I'm on for every single episode for this series, Speak Life Lessons, there's going to be a guest who's going to be joining me, and they have chosen. I have given them the task of choosing one poem from this coloring book. Yes, again, My Self Talk Speaks Life, the coloring book, and choosing a poem for a topic of discussion. And so I'm so excited to introduce my guest for tonight. Listen, if you don't know who she is, I don't know where you've been. I mean, you're living on a rock or something. If you don't know who Shelly Shell Williams is, then listen, you're about to be in for a treat. And I'm so excited to have her on here. So let's bring her on the stage. Hey.
Yay! Woo-hoo-hoo. I'm excited. I'm excited. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, yes. I am so excited to have you on here. I mean, you are always dropping gems on every platform that you're in, any space that you're in. So I'm just blessed and honored to have you on the stage with me. But tell the people who you are and what you do.
I am Shelly Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah. I am a mediapreneur. And when people say Oprah, oh, you think you're Oprah? No, but I break it down in the acronym. I do online social media marketing. I'm a producer. I'm a resource agency in advertising and also a host and speaker. So it all breaks down to all the things I do. But more importantly, I am a child of the Most High God. What?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm a God girl too. So we are in company. Listen, if you're watching this, you're in great company. That's all I gotta say. You're in great company. And so one of the things I tasked Miss Shelly Shell is to pick a poem from the book. And before I tell you what the topic of today is, let's talk about what the poem is. If you have a copy, so if you have a copy of the My Self Talk Speaks Life inspirational coloring book, you could read along with us. You can follow along with us. You can be coloring while you're watching this. If you don't have a copy and after watching this, you're like, girl, I need a copy of this. Just know that you can go to speakliketransformation.com to the Living Speak Life store to get yourself a copy. But let's get into the poem for today. So, the poem for today is titled Unstuck. And this is what it reads. There was a time when I was stuck in unhealthy relationships, stuck in old habits, stuck in limiting beliefs, stuck in depression, stuck in anxiety. But today I refuse to be stuck. I choose to release myself from anything and anyone holding me back from living my life. I am unstuck. I am free. I am limitless. And so when I wrote this, my thought process and a lot of all the poems that I wrote have been inspired by my own personal experience and also the experience of the beautiful women I've serviced through Speak Like Transformation. And I wrote this because there are many times when we are in places that we just feel like we can't get out of. But once we do, baby, once we do, there's a level of freedom and there's a level of, like I said in this poem, limitlessness that really gives us another perception and a level of confidence that we are actually able to do the things that we want to do. So that's where I was coming with this. But Shelly, tell me, what made you choose this poem out of all the other ones?
Woo, unstuck. So I was looking at everyone. I said, yeah, unhealthy relationships. Yeah, that's what I got. Limiting of beliefs. Yeah, I've been through that. Pretty much everything, maybe except for anxiety, was
Mm-hmm,
something
mm-hmm,
I have
mm-hmm.
gone through. And I was like,
Mm,
and I had to sit back and think, anxiety, have I? But I was thinking everything that is written was resonating with me, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. And when I thought about unhealthy relationships, and I was thinking, well, I haven't had that. I've only had two unhealthy relationships. And I started to make an excuse. At the moment
mm.
I'm reading it and made an excuse in my head. Like, no, I haven't really had that many. And there was only
Mm,
two
mhm,
unhealthy relationships. But I was like, yeah, two unhealthy relationships is two unhealthy relationships
mhm,
too many,
mhm, mhm,
you know?
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So I went through a whole process. I was speaking to myself
Yeah.
internally.
Yeah, yeah, and it's, and you know what? What was coming up for me even while you were saying is that how when we get in our own, we listen, we could be our best liars to our own selves, and we're like, that's not me. I've never been there, right? Or I've, like you said, I've only had two compared to other people who maybe have had more than two. That's not me. That's not my issue because there's only two compared to others, right? And I
Mhm.
think that goes so well with our title for our show today. Lesson number one. Each episode is going to be a lesson. And so lesson number one is all about breaking free and gaining clarity. We are going to be talking about tonight how to break free, how to get unstuck, the power of being unstuck, and how that leads to clarity, or the opposite, how clarity leads to being unstuck, kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. And so I would love to hear when you were talking about what you were saying about the moments you've been unstuck. What has been your story of being stuck in something?
Well, I got a few stuck stories, but uh, let's go to the first thing. If we go down the list, all right, let's think about unhealthy relationships. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
recently, like back in September, I went on a fast, right?
mm-hmm,
And it's
mm-hmm,
fast because I was in this relationship that didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right.
mm-hmm.
I should have gone with what I felt, and my goal is one that right now is to, when you feel it, you just walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't feel. I was like, I know this doesn't feel right. I know exactly what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this person isn't being faithful. I'm feeling it, but I
Mm-hmm,
needed clarity. So I went and fasted, and I fasted for about over 30 days for clarity, and that was
mm-hmm,
it. I needed clarity. I needed the blinders to be off, and I needed clarity on that, because I felt I was stuck, and I'm like, why are you stuck in this place? Why, when you know what you know, but you're
mm-hmm,
stuck? You're like,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
if I leave, and I look like the bad guy, who cares? If I leave, I look like, if I'm wrong, then I look like the bad guy. But so I fast for clarity. And was it 7 or 8 days in? 7 or 8 days in, the person invites me to a party, their
Mhm,
child's party or something like
mhm,
that.
mhm,
I'm invited to the party, and then my sister and I are looking around like, oh, boo boo the fool. There's a girl here that's sitting here acting like
mm,
they know
mhm,
everybody. And I'm like,
mhm,
and I
mhm,
kept saying, that person's with you. And I kept saying it over and over. And to the point that it became true. She told me everything, and it blew up, and that was it. But it was the fact that I needed clarity. I felt
mhm,
stuck in the situation,
mm,
and then I
mhm,
needed clarity. So I fasted to get clarity. And then moving forward, fasting again, I said, I still need clarity on things. I need this clarity on what my, you know, even though I've been in media for a lot of years and I
mhm,
interviewed
mhm,
all the
mhm,
celebrities, go,
mhm.
check the receipts. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, how could you feel unstuck but I kept feeling like almost like imposter syndrome. Like, am I
yeah,
really, is this really?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I was feeling once again, stuck,
Mhm,
and I needed to get
mhm,
unstuck. So I started fasting again for clarity, and clarity on my goal, who I am, and really understanding who I am. And God started making it really clear. It was almost like I felt like the blinders just, I was blind, and now
yeah,
I see. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
And that's where I am right now. I was blind and now I see, and things are just falling into place. And I see my gifts. I keep saying your gifts makes room for you. And I knew it was interviewing, but it was more importantly, I took a course 4 years ago, several courses of the same courses to teach people how to build courses and
Mm-hmm.
programs and even launch my own program. First time I took it, I didn't launch. The second time I took it, I didn't launch. The third time I took it, I didn't launch. The fourth time I took it, I didn't launch. So I'm like, God, what is going on? What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I felt
Mm-hmm.
stuck. I felt stuck in the thing. It was because I was experiencing that the imposter syndrome. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm not. I see all these people with this, that, and the other. So I started having a analysis paralysis, and I
Mm-hmm.
started, and
Mm-hmm.
it was hindering where I was going until that moment. And so I fasted, and God just, it was like, ah, and it was like the blinders are off. And I asked the question to, I'm an independent contractor for companies, and I do social media. I've been doing social media. I've been doing social media for over 10 years. And I was sitting there thinking, am I really a social media
That
person?
part. That
I'm
part, right?
hired by the biggest brands, real big corporations. And I'm asking myself,
Mm-hmm.
do you really
Yeah.
do social media?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I asked the person, one of the people, what was the most amazing company I worked for, one of the best hands down pet company I've ever worked for. But I said, you tell me who I am. What do you think my strengths are? I've been here for worked here for
Mhm.
4 years. What are my strengths? You're a content creator, a master content creator. You are
Mm.
skilled. This is you. I mean, like literally, it was like I said, if you tell me that's what I am, if you whatever you say, I said whatever you say out your mouth that I am, I will, I will launch my course hands down, no questions asked, no repeat, no. I said I will do it. Told me that, and from that point on, it felt
Mm.
I felt unstuck. I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
unstuck at that moment. I went into a creation mode. I know how to do all this. I create content.
Right. 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 You did all that. Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
went into creation mode, and I went into, I mean, it was like, all right, I know what I'm doing now. And then every day, literally every day, I'm like, oh, this is what you do. This is really what you do. And
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Mm-hmm.
gifted at it. And sometimes you have to encourage yourself because you need it. You need it for yourself.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
this particular point, it seems crazy that I've been in I mean, if you look at my career, I get it. I won awards, Billboard awards. I've been
Mm-hmm.
won so
Mm-hmm.
many awards, but I still felt this imposter thing, and this
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
understanding who I was, and now
Mm-hmm.
I'm unstuck. Now
Yeah.
I'm so I'm unstuck to the point where I am really ready, like teaching. I mean, I've been teaching, but this right now, the launching my own program is going to be like, yes, I
Mm-hmm.
am confident now that
Yes.
I can, even though I do it on my own, I teach all the time, I'm always feeding life, but in my mind, I'm confident that I can teach something. I'm at more than 10%. No, I know, they said, how do you know you're an expert when you know you're 10% more than someone else? I'm more than confident that I know more than 10% of the people that I'll be teaching, because this is what I've been doing for the last however many years.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what stood out to me, and for those who are watching, feel free to write comments, thoughts in the chat, questions in the chat. I am checking them. I have access to, I realize I do have access to Instagram questions, and your YouTube questions will come up as well. So light up the chat with some questions or comments. We would love to hear them. But as you were talking, one of the things that were coming that the word that just kept coming up was fear, right? And how fear really can be the thing that causes you to get stuck. And it reminded me of, like, with the poem, the second to last sentence in the poem is, I choose to release myself from anything and anyone holding me back from living my life. And fear
Yeah.
is both the anything and the anyone, that can really get you to, like you were saying, having that imposter syndrome and being at this place where you've been doing something for several years, you have the skill set, you have the foundation, and still yet fear is causing you to feel like, well, maybe I'm not ready for this, like maybe this is not for me. And so when you're thinking about fear, from your perspective, how is fear and feeling stuck um related?
Oh, fear. The
Mhm.
fear is crazy thing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on TV, right?
Mhm,
We're in spaces on one of the hottest television show. Urban Expression is the hottest television
mhm,
show at the
mhm,
time. Music
mhm,
video shows, right? I get on there. I'm in the background. I don't want to be seen. Don't look at me. Don't. Oh no, no, no.
mm,
Don't look at
mhm,
me. Oh no,
mhm,
don't. Right.
mhm,
So
mhm,
then, as I produce, I get the opportunity to be the segment producer of Word on the Street. Word on the Street was the most popular segment of that particular show. Word on the Street. And I'm like, all right, cool. I can do that. That's a camera. That's me and that camera. Nobody's
mhm,
there looking. So I get on the, hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Shelly Shell. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
I got a whole thing. It's my thing. And I own it. That no
mhm,
problem. I loved it.
mhm.
And then but as you get popular, they say, hey, we want to book you to host. We want to book you to do this and get on stage somewhere. We want to book you. I said, oh, no, 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 I won't do that. I'll give you
Mhm,
here. How about you book this one? You book this one. So I'm putting everybody in place. For years and years and years and years and
mhm,
years. I'm talking to turn them down. I'm turning down money.
mm,
Always
mhm,
turning down money because of
mhm,
fear, because I was afraid to go on stage, afraid. And I'm like, what are you afraid of? I guess you're afraid of what people will say. I'm afraid of this,
mm, mhm,
afraid, allowing fear.
mhm.
I let fear, I mean, when I think about how much money I put in someone else's hand, no, no, not me. You don't want me. Take someone else. How about
Yeah.
this? How about, and I constantly did that until the moment where we were transitioning from one place to another, and I needed money. I needed money. Hey, somebody said, well, can you host this event? I said, I sure can. And I went and did it afraid. Afraid,
Mhm,
shaking in my boots. Oh my goodness, but I needed the money.
mhm,
I needed the
mhm.
money. But then the more I did things like that, the more you do it, the better you get. The more you do
Yeah.
it, the more comfortable you are. And the more you do it, you realize I'm gifted to do this. This is what I'm
Mhm,
supposed to do. And it even came down to a TV show I was produced called Single on a Saturday Night. God gave me the whole plan. Do this, do this, this. He gave me every plan from A to Z. And he said, be the host. What? What you mean? What you mean, God, be the host? No. But all right, I'll do it. So, but I also put a ringer in. So as I'm picking my panel of people, I pick someone who I know would just took the ball and roll with it. So I get up there, go do what supposedly doing what God said to do here, go get on there and host this show. I get up there and said, I turned to Daydon Talbert and said, I can't do it. I
mhm,
can't do this. I can't host. I
mhm,
can't do it. I can't do it. I fear all the way back. I didn't do it.
mhm,
He took over
mhm,
the show and he said some things to offend people. So we have a Facebook group, and they said if he comes back, we're not coming back. So they voted
mm.
unanimous vote, voted him off the island. So I had no choice but to host. Had no choice but to do what God says and host.
You know,
No
God, he gonna make you do it regardless. If you say you don't, he gonna he gonna move things out the way to make you do what he said he told you to
Did
the
he
first
not?
time.
He moved them out, put me, and I was like, all right. But then the more I did it, the more I realized, oh, yes, this is me. The more I do it,
Mhm,
this is me. The more, and God just, but the grace was making room for me. So even
mhm.
after I started in fear,
Yeah,
started
that
in
part.
fear, and
Mhm.
then as I kept doing it, now you can't take a microphone from me.
Yeah.
You can't take a microphone from me. It is. I realized that this is my gift really indeed made room for me. And no matter what fear
Mm.
I had to do it afraid. I had to do everything afraid, no matter what. And then
Yeah.
then I'm getting now I'm hosting all over. I'm getting being booked, literally booked, paid and booked to host. And I remember even the first time being paid and booked to host, I was afraid then too. And it was always am I good enough? It was always me thinking about other people and thinking I'm not good enough. Oh, that person is better and this and that. But I'm thinking, no, obviously they called me. They called me. Obviously, I'm supposed to be doing this. But eventually, as the more I've done it, the more I do it, the more I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I love this thing here.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
The more I hear people say to me, wow, you were I mean, the more I mean, I'm like, what? Really? Oh, thank you. And the more I do it, the more the fear. I mean, you still have a little butterflies because you don't know the situation, but
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
different type of fear. It's
Yeah.
not fear based on imposter syndrome. It's not fear based on off of insecurity. It's not fear based off of doubt in my ability to do something. It's not that type of fear. You just have your little nervous. It's, oh, you got to get up on
Right.
stage,
Right.
but it's a
Yeah.
different type. I feel so as far as being unstuck, I am why this resonated with me. I am so unstuck right now. And it's like I'm
Mm,
in a place, I'm in such a place, I'm in such a place that it is that place. It's that place where
yeah.
I know I am clear. I am on the road and trajectory I'm supposed to be on. I'm clear. And I'm so unstuck right now. So
Yeah. And as you were talking, what I was thinking about is how the fear causes you to get stuck because you don't move, right? And it's all the things that you're saying to yourself about yourself, right? Like you were saying, I can't do it, or this isn't for me, or I'm not where these other people are. And then when we say those things about our abilities, we begin to feel like, well, we can't move. Like I can't move because I can't do the things that this opportunity or this position or these responsibilities are requiring of me. So, and then so we blame it on, I don't know, or we blame it on, I don't have the resources, or we blame it on these other things, when really it's the fear saying, you don't know, you don't have access to the resources, and you can't do it. But when you do it scared, that's what I always talk about. I always talk about doing it scared. And that means that even when you're feeling scared, you boldly take that step. So it's just because you feel scared doesn't mean you can't do it scared. You can still feel scared and do it at the same time. That's where the bravery comes from. That's where the boldness comes from, right? And so when you're able to do it scared, as a result of you facing the fear, as a result of you doing the thing you didn't think you did, doing the thing you didn't think you could do, you realize, I actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Or, actually, I can do this thing. And then you get into clarity of understanding skill sets you didn't even know you had, the understanding of strengths you didn't even know you had, right? And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I got this thing. I can do this. I can totally do this. Yeah.
I can do it because God said so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And one of the things you mentioned too was we talked about like the self-talk, right? Like
Mhm.
saying like I can't do it, or this isn't for me, or I don't have the skill set like someone else. How much would you say are how much we speak out loud, right? What our self-talk looks like, what we're speaking into life, how much of that determines whether you're going to be stuck or unstuck? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say this. I do know the power of speaking. So even though I
Mm-hmm.
felt what I felt, I never really spoke it out loud. I didn't.
Mm.
I never
Mm-hmm.
spoke it out
Mm-hmm.
loud because I know life and death is the power of the tongue. I know that
Yeah.
you're supposed to speak those things, and though they're as though they're not, as though they are. So I know
Mm-hmm.
the power
Mm-hmm.
of speech. So I never really spoke it out loud. So no
Mm-hmm.
one really knew in terms what I
Mm.
was going
Mhm.
through.
Mhm.
But I do
Mhm.
know the power of it. I am a speaker. I am a host.
Mhm.
I am a course
Mhm.
creator. I
Mhm.
am I know the power of doing that and making sure
Mhm.
my language is my language. I
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
So that I never had that particular problem because
Mhm.
I know the power of the tongue. I do. So even though I was going through it, it was literally one of those private things. No one
Yeah.
understood what I was going through. No one. I never said these are things. I showed up every day confidently, no matter what I did.
Mhm.
You didn't know. You wouldn't have known I wasn't confident. You wouldn't have known that I was battling, imposters, and you wouldn't have known
Yeah.
because I didn't speak it.
Yeah. Do you feel like that is the secret to pushing through the fear, is that even though you might be feeling it, even though the critical self-talk might be something you hear, it's not something that you entertain or speak out loud?
I think the secret to it is really doing it. The secret is
Mm.
the more you do it, the better you get, the more comfortable you get. That's the secret. So even whether I speak it or not speak it, it's the more I do it. That's the secret. The biggest secret is doing
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
showing up
Yeah.
for yourself, showing up, and the more
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
it, the more the every time you get up and you say, "All right, I'm doing it." And I guess one
Mhm.
one one other thing is when you're in a situation when you don't have and you need, you sure
Yeah.
will. That just like the day that I say, "Okay, I need some money,"
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and I had to make that money, and the opportunity was there. Well, could you come host? Yes, I will. I
Mhm.
gladly take the money. I'll gladly take that money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that, that also, I think that so applies to relationships. Like we were just in the poem, it talks about relationships and habits and beliefs and depression and anxiety, right? I think um feeling stuck in those different levels, because they're all different levels of versions of feeling stuck. I think that applies to that too, of just doing it, right? Like following through, like even when you don't feel like getting out of bed, right? You mentioned something like believing in yourself, knowing what your worth is, right? Just like pushing yourself to want, because you want more for yourself, and you recognize that you deserve more, and just pushing yourself to do it even when you don't feel like it, even when it's scary, even when you don't know what the outcome is going to be, like finding that the inner strength to push yourself to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. When it comes to depression, I had posted. I just realized I was in functional depression for after the
Mm.
breakup, after that situation, after
Mm.
I realized
Mhm.
I was in a place of functional depression.
Mm.
And I posted it, and I said, "Wow!" And it was at the moment where I felt like I was being free from it. And I said,
Mm.
I posted that, and how I felt like that's what I was feeling, and I didn't realize there was so many other people who felt the same
Yeah.
and were going through the
Yeah.
same thing. So it made people feel like, yo, somebody said, inbox me said, I don't want anybody to have to go through it, but I'm glad to know that I'm not alone in it.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
wow, just that one comment, that one thing, it opened up opened up the doors for prayers, for
Yeah.
praying for them, but more
Mhm.
importantly, it opened up the
Mhm.
doors to let people know that they're not alone. There was a functional depression going
Yeah.
on, and that's but the unstuck at that moment when I posted
Mhm.
it, because I finally realized what was going on, because that
Mhm.
particular situation took me down a
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
Being cheated on. No one wants to be cheated on. No one
Mhm.
wants to be
Mhm.
betrayed. So
Yeah.
in that point, I'm trying to figure out, well, how did that happen to me? You're going through all the
Mhm.
things and you're feeling like
Mhm.
and then it just was like one of those things. And then, but I was functionally depressed, but still moving forward, still doing prayer
Yeah.
every day, but still
Mhm.
inside I was feeling like what's going on? Until that
Yeah.
moment, it was over. It felt like I remember the moment when I posted like, hey, wait, I'm no longer depressed. But I just
Mhm.
realized I was functionally depressed, and and
Yeah.
and I'm glad to know that that one statement was able to help other people. And at this particular point, I'm unstuck. Once again, I am
Yeah.
unstuck. And
Mhm.
it was all part of the fasting, all part of
Mhm.
fasting, and getting asking God for clarity so that I can get
Mhm.
unstuck, because I don't like that. I'm a happy person, and I don't want to be
Yeah.
stuck. I don't want to be sad. I want to be happy. I want to have peace and joy, and so it feels bad when you feel that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times what can cause us to feel stuck is staying silent, right? Like cuz we feel, and when we're silent, we feel like we're doing it alone, like nobody know, you don't feel like anybody else would understand, so you don't share
Mhm.
your story. Or there's the fear of being judged by sharing your story, and so that can cause a feeling of being stuck, because you don't feel like I don't have the support, or I don't have the ability to to remove myself from this situation. And but then when you share your story, when you talk about your story's a level of freedom that comes with that share, that, like you said, immediately takes this burden off, this weight off, that helps you feel a level of feeling unstuck for sure. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So to say that your poem spoke to so many different
Yeah.
areas,
Yeah.
and there was no other way to even pick something else, when this
Mhm.
is my life, this is what I'm going through, this is my
Yeah.
transition, and I am clearly unstuck right now, and in this place, and I'm like, God, I want to stay unstuck, help me stay unstuck. I don't want to, like, I am enjoying this place, I'm enjoying this
Mhm.
peace that I've got from being unstuck. I'm enjoying the even though the course hasn't launched yet, there was some, like, even
Mhm.
with that,
Mhm.
the fact that I met with some opposition, meaning
Yeah.
The because our company was so busy, my I had to wait in line, and then there's so many different pieces that didn't. I was supposed to launch on January 21st, which was the day after my birthday. So I was supposed to launch then, and normally I'd be like, well, that means I'm not supposed to do it. That's what I would have done.
Mm.
I would have done
Mhm.
that. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not supposed to do it. Oh well, I'm over it. No, done. Nope.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a God's perfect timing. What's the next? What's the next date? Okay, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick February 18th. That's the date I'm gonna pick. So that clearly, everything should be done by then. Everything
Yeah.
should be done by then. But instead
Mhm.
of giving up, which I would have done in my stuck state, but because I'm unstuck, I'm like, all right, well, just wasn't
Mm.
the timing. Now this will give
Mhm.
me more
Mhm.
chance to promote. This will give me more chance to do more things. This will give me more chance to prepare better. This will be, I started to reframe the thought process, reframe what I was thinking instead of thinking, oh, it didn't work in that, and people are going to think so. I don't care what people think.
Mhm.
This is the way. This is just what happens. Either you're going to be there, or you're not. I'm not selling you. I can't sell you on what the transformation is. That's not my
Yeah.
goal to sell you on transformation. You got to know that
Right.
you value what I'm offering. So if even if
Right.
it's the 21st or the 18th, then so but that's the
Mhm.
thought process I had to switch. That's my switch.
Yeah.
Before I'd have been
Yeah.
like, oh no, they're not gonna come. Oh
Mhm.
no. Oh my goodness. I would have sang a song, 10 songs and stopped. And just stopped. But I'm not stopping. There's no stopping me. There's At this particular point, there's no stopping. I'm so unstuck that there's nothing stopping me. Even if the
Yeah.
time changes, I'm not stopping.
Yeah. I love it. I think as we wrap up, I think, talking about there's so many different lessons that we talked about. I think I'm gonna ask you what is your like final lesson of being unstuck in that clarity. I think um for me, when I'm thinking about one of the things that we talked about, I would say is doing it scared. That's a lesson, right? Like just
Mhm.
even when it's scary, right? Do it anyway because that's how you create movement. You have to move in order to create movement, right? And if you are staying in the same position, there's no movement, and so you are going to remain stuck. In order to get stuck, you have to move, and so doing it scared as that movement. What's your lesson?
I mean, that's a great big lesson, doing it afraid, and that's what I think the I wanted another one. That was a big one,
Mhm,
doing it afraid.
mhm,
Another
mhm,
big one is do what's necessary to get unstuck.
mm,
Don't just
mm,
stay there. Do what's necessary. If that's
mm,
going to a support group, fine. If that's praying, if that's fasting, if that's journaling, whatever that is,
mhm,
do what's necessary to get unstuck, and believe that you're supposed to be unstuck. Don't think you're supposed to
mm,
remain that way. Believe that, listen, I'm not supposed to be here. And I know
mhm,
that I'm supposed to be out of this. This is not where I'm supposed to be. This is not my resting place. Well, I'm resting. This is not my final destination.
mhm,
So
mhm,
do what
mhm,
is necessary to get unstuck. Whatever that method is for you, do what it takes to get unstuck, because that's not where you're supposed to be. That's just a present tense, and you have a final destination. So let's get there, because we're not supposed to be there. Abundance is ours. It's our birthright. So abundance is ours. So
mhm,
let's get
mhm,
it.
mhm.
Let's get it. So don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck. Get unstuck, because that's where you're supposed to be.
I love it. That's a good drop the mic right there. For those who are watching live, feel free to put any questions or comments in the chat. You're watching this on a replay. You can still put a comment or two in the chat. I will definitely reply. But I am. This was such a great, great conversation. An amazing kickoff to speak life lessons and what is to come. Miss Shelly Shell, tell the people how they can get connected with you, how they what ways they can work with you, possibly if that's an option.
Yes. I am on Instagram at Shelly Shell Williams. Instagram at Shelly Shell Williams. Follow me. That would be a great thing. That's the best way to do it. I wrote a book, a best-selling book called Interview Your Way to Instagram Growth. And that was another thing
Mm.
that get unstuck. 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 Interview your way to Instagram growth. And so my main platform I love to push people towards is Instagram, because this is, it's all part of a bigger, it's all part of a bigger thing in my life. So at Shelly Shell
Mhm.
Williams, and please connect with me, work with me. Just I'm here. I'm here. I'm excited about where I am. I'm so excited. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I'm excited about where I am. I'm being unstuck, man.
Yes, I love it. I one of the comments on here I'm going to share one of the comments that Marlene says this is a great conversation. Let's get unstuck. Yes, hashtag let's get unstuck. Yes, that is yes. Let's go. I love it. And so, for those who want to know more about, if you're like, wait, I want this book, and I also want to have it for the next for next week, so I can be able to read along with y'all when for the next episodes and the following episodes. If you would like a copy of the My Self Talk Speaks Life inspirational coloring book, make sure that you visit speaklifetransformation.com right now for the spirit of this love season as we're entering Valentine's Day. The entire store is 25% off, where you can be able to gift someone you love or gift yourself some self-love. Everything in my store is all about personal development, all about self-love and self-care. The My Self Talk Speaks Life collection is where you can either get the book itself, the coloring book itself, or you can get the self love box, which includes the coloring book, coloring pencils, a journal, a pen, aromatherapy candle, some journal prompts, and a feelings wheel. All the things that you need to practice some self love, take care of your mental self care, and an amazing gift for someone that you love. So check out my stores, the Living Speak Life store. Again, visit speaklifetransformation.com. Click the LSL store button to be able to shop and get yourself that 25% off of all things in the store. Again, this is going to be the Speak Life lessons is every Thursday, y'all. Every Thursday. We're doing this all the way into March. We're doing this all the way into March. And so make sure you stay tuned. I'm having another special guest. The topic is going to be amazing. Make sure you are following me on Instagram and TikTok at Speak Life Transformation, YouTube at Speak Life TV, and Facebook Living Speak Life, so that you can stay connected to know when what the topic is going to be, and anything else that's going on with Speak Life. And also again, Thursday nights I'm going to be doing Speak Life lessons every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let me just see. There's another comment that popped up. I just want to make sure. Well, Mar made it official. She made it official. Hashtag let's get unstuck. She made it official. It's officially a hashtag. Make sure, put that in the comments as y'all watching this. If y'all watching the replay, put hashtag let's get unstuck if this conversation changed your life, hit some points, resonated with you, drop some gems where it taught you a lesson or lessons. Put hashtag let's get unstuck. And as always, I end all my segments, videos. Until I see you again, make sure you be safe, be bold, and speak life. Good night, everyone.